The people who are successful have a vision. They have a goal. They have a vision. If you do not have a vision, then what are you waking up every single day for? What are you doing with your life? If you are doing something, one thing every single day to pursue that dream, anything like sending an email. Did you send an email today? Did you reach out to somebody? Did you watch a video? Like anything to educate you, anything that goes towards that vision, you are doing something purposeful in your life. And like I said, Oprah said it the best.
Hey everyone, welcome back to a new episode on the Divinely Disruptive podcast. I'm your host, Jane Powers, and today in our studio, we have a boss mom, entrepreneur, model, and she's an editor-in-chief of an amazing magazine, and I cannot wait for her to share her story. And beyond everything, I am really a fan of just humble women who are making an influence, not only in the world around them, but in my personal life. So Dani, welcome to the studio. I'm so glad we made this work. I know you're juggling so much, and I know your daughter was sick as well. So again, thank you for just allowing us to have this time. I know you got a sitter at home, but don't feel any mom guilt. I know we talked about that off the record, but just you're a beautiful soul. And I really wanted people to get to know you and your story.
You're so sweet.
For those that haven't,
to you. Thank you so much for that introduction, by the way. That was really kind.
I tried to do some research on you too, because I know a lot of what you do, but I didn't know you modeled for so many years and you're still a young, fierce woman. So tell us a little bit about your history and where you're from.
I love that, young, fierce. Yes. Let's add that in there.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks, Jane. Where am I from? A little bit of background about me. I guess I was born and raised in a really tiny town in Iowa. It's called Hamburg, Iowa. 1,000 people. We don't even have a stoplight. There's not very many businesses there, but that's where I went to high school. And when I was in high school, I competed for Miss Iowa Teen USA. That's kind of where my career started. But I mean, there's so much. Growing up in a small town really shaped me. I've had a really incredible life. But growing up in a small town, I was involved in every sport, any kind of drama, speech contest. I felt like that really set me up for goals. I got to tamper around with so many different subjects and entertainment that I weeded out things that I didn't like math, and science intrigues me now, but when I was young, definitely not. Fashion, and I don't know, once I really knew the things that I loved, everything kind of attracted to me. And, but yeah, Miss Iowa really was a launch pad for me.
Jeez. And coming from a small town, how the heck did you end up in Vegas?
Pageantry again. I mean, I ended up winning Miss Iowa USA, and I competed for Miss USA.
Congrats.
Thanks. Back when it used to be the Kodak Theater. I think it's gone through several different names. I think it's the Dolby. I'm not even sure actually right now, but back then it was the Kodak Theater. And after that, I had started doing a lot of environmental programs in the town that I was living in. And I was approached by Miss Earth, and that ended up being here in Vegas. I competed for Miss Iowa Teen, and at that pageant, the choreographer was a modeling agency. They were a mother agency, and they are the ones who founded Ashton Kutcher, because he's from Iowa. And that story is super cute. And then Carly Kloss, she's from Missouri. Tons of great, incredible models that you would know. She was their mother agency. And so basically, long story short, is I competed. She liked my look. I immediately went down to St. Louis, is where she was at. We did a ton of photos. And then I was on a plane to New York City and going to all these go-sees. And I was signed by Ford Model Management. And my career kind of started from there. And it's taken me all over the world. I've lived in like every fashion capital in the world and signed with some of the biggest modeling agencies. And like I said, my life, I sometimes am so at awe. I had incredible parents too. So, and I'd like, yeah, we should talk about that as well.
Yeah, no. And just even as you're sharing even just a small story of your modeling career, your modeling journey, it's very commendable because even my encounters with you, Dani, you're just so grounded. And a lot of people might not be able to explore maybe the cities, the countries, the people you've met and still remain grounded. So I know you talked about amazing parents. Tell me their influence on who you are today as well.
Oh, well, first off, a lot of that grounding actually comes from traveling, because you get to see so many walks of life, and it humbles you too, being in a country that you don't know the language, and maybe you're a new model and you have no idea. Some of these girls had been modeling in Europe for years, and I just come in and like a little twerp, and they just, so it's really intimidating, that industry. So, that definitely will ground you. And I think that a lot of lessons that I learned came from travel and just meeting so many different people. And I think that's why, earlier before we were talking, I was nervous because I'm usually on the opposite side of this. I am usually interviewing everyone else and not talking about my life. And because I'm so grateful for everything that I've ever had, I'd never want to come off like, oh, I've had all this, wonderful things happen to me. It has been a challenge, definitely. I've had incredible role models. My parents believed in anything and everything that I've ever done. And except for a singing career, actually, which I thought I was pretty good. Me and my cousin had a band. They were like, this is not going to cut it in real life. So you need other dreams. I'm glad that they did that in the long run. But if it was something that my parents knew that I had a true passion for, they were supporting me as much as they could. And we come from a very middle class. My dad is a truck driver. My mother is a bookkeeper at a pharmacy, and we're in a town of 1,000 people. So it has been a challenge to even get out of that tiny town. But my parents were a huge role model, and going back to that's a huge reason that I feel like I want to be a great parent, because I had such wonderful people to look up to. And
that makes my soul so happy, Dani, because I don't want to generalize too many people's stories, but it seems very rare that a lot of people have a lot of support in their home, especially this new generation. I feel like it's 50-50. Some people grew up with a lot of support and parents that are still together and unconditionally loving of the children's dreams and visions. So that just gives me so much hope and joy for you. And it makes sense with the person that you're becoming, and the person that even I've experienced through you is there's so much love and support and this unconditional spirit of love from you. I remember just having moments too where I was down and you didn't even know, but you just lifted me up. Like I said, off the record, I was like, you kicked me my ass a few times, but it was this love that I never felt. So, even transitioning into motherhood, you are that great mom. I was just telling you when you came in, I said, relax, don't worry. You as a mother is one thing, but you deserve to also be Dani and be proud of the woman that you are. And that's why I was so excited for this episode, is because you don't often interview yourself or share your story. I thought this was a beautiful, intimate moment, and a little vulnerable too, to say, Dani, without feeling like you're prideful or arrogant in any way, we are allowed to brag as long as we remain grounded and humble. I tell people all the time, you're allowed to brag if it's the truth and you're not making people feel less than, if at all, you're inspiring people. And I want you to share that journey is, even being a mother, God bless you. What is that like, Dani?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Can we talk about another challenging moment? well, thank you for all that. I think you're really special as well. And
Thank you.
so we've always had really great, powerful, inspiring conversations. And it's never just been like materialistic and shallow. And I'm really happy to be here and so proud of you as well.
Thank
so
you.
I appreciate that. Being a mom changed my whole entire life. I mean, it gives me a lot more purpose, and it's another grounding experience as well. Like nothing is what you think it's going to be. I had an entire week full of meetings, and my daughter has gotten sick over the weekend, and it's kind of, trickled on through the week. And today I had to rearrange my day. She was supposed to be in school. I was all over town with a doctor's appointment and her prescription, and it was just juggling. But man, I'm going to say one thing about motherhood that I really am so excited about at the end of the day is that I did it. I feel so accomplished. Like I really feel like a cool person when I finish my day and made my girl, like baby girl, all the meals. She ate more than me, always, and got her to school and did her hair and made her look cute and entertained her. And I don't have a clue how we do it. And then work on top of it. I have no idea. But when you have like a kid, it just makes you want to do that. And even before her, I didn't know that I wanted to have children. She's a blessing, definitely. But I always knew, like through pageantry and when I was modeling, I always wanted to be a role model. I really loved the way that, kids aspired to like be better. And I always wanted to be that person for them. I think that's why I try to like do that for my daughter. I think that's why I started this business that I want to talk about as well. That's definitely why I started that. I loved that role as Miss Iowa. It was a role model, and I really took that seriously. And being a mom is like the best, worst, crazy experience you could have as a human being.
No, and I think it was important to talk a little bit about
With that being said, cheers.
Yeah,
to
cheers.
that.
I'm like, hey. Celebrate, Kate. Oh man. Thank you for this, by the way. This is
You're
delicious.
welcome, of course.
But I think it was important to just kind of hit that subject about motherhood, because there's so many people listening and watching. Maybe they had a kid really early, or maybe they don't think that they're a good enough mom. And I don't have kids, but I'm an empath, so I can definitely feel people's energy and have a lot of empathy for what they're going through. But I can just sense there are some mothers that maybe feel that mom guilt, like, okay, but Dani's doing it. She, it's not easy, but Dani's doing it. She has her own businesses, which we'll chat about, and you're also building other people's businesses, but look at Dani go.
Oh, no way.
It's fun. Yeah. Come on.
I mean, yes, but I want everybody to know that it is not easy. I realize, for the most part, I am a single mother. It's not something that I really know if it's a challenging subject to talk about, but financially, I am a single mother. I have my daughter 99% of the time. And honestly, that's what I consider. That's another topic. That should be we need to have another show about what single mother, single parenthood actually looks like and what it really means. Because I think a lot of people have this, before I get in my feelings, I think people have a twisted idea of what that means and are confused, because I've talked to some people and I'm like, okay. But I do not want anybody to think that this is easy. I'm like, my brother is with my daughter right now, helping me out. He has a full-time job. He moved out to, he was living in Nebraska, and I was just begging somebody to like come and help me out. And I really sold the dream for my brother. And thank God he came. And I mean, it's challenging. My brother lives with me. He's going to kill me. He's always told me not to say this. I'm so sorry. He's going to kill me.
Hopefully he won't see this. Maybe he'll just share the episode, but we love you.
He's a lovely guy though, ladies. This is only temporary. Okay. So, but yeah, he helps me out a ton. I have an incredible babysitter that I rely on a lot. And you know what? The one thing that I'm going to tell you, and maybe not everybody knows this, and I know that this is not feasible for a lot of people, but I take my daughter to work with me. I warn my clients. I have incredibly lovely and amazing humans of clients. Some of them are also mothers. And thank goodness my daughter is just adorable and very well behaved. And I take her to some of my meetings or like some of these interviews that I have because I really don't have any other choice. And that's just the way. And thankfully, another thing is Tim Hancock, my publisher for the magazine. He just another human being that I'm so blessed to have in my life. I'm really blessed to have some incredible people, by the way. When I got pregnant, he was so excited. He was like, bring her to work all the time. And if they don't like it, then I don't know what to say because this is the work environment that I want to provide for you. And that I want these women to have is like to feel safe, to bring, you know, their daughters or sons. And it's a family business. And he really allowed me to feel confident in that space as well. So it is not easy. This Dani lifestyle, y'all, I try to be real. Does it come off like it's hard? I try to be as real as possible. It is not easy, but I do make time for myself because I'm not going to be a great mom if I am not being great to myself. And I do a lot of mental health work. I've done a lot of shadow work. I do a lot of meditation. Quantum jumping is really important in my life. I have weeded out a lot of people that I don't think are healthy for me. And I continue to surround myself. I don't go out unless, you know, it's making me money or, you know, making my heart warm with the girlfriends that I surround myself with. I'm not dating. Sorry, men, but this girl is not dating because we ain't got time for that. No offense. I mean, I want to eventually, but, you know, it's not an easy journey. So.
No, and I love that. Thank you for going in because I really think went in on that so many people. No, we need that here. Cheers.
Yeah. Okay. After everyone, right, yes, we're going to do it.
No, we got this. But I think you really touched some people right there because we're often lying to ourselves or maybe creating the story. Oh, nobody cares. Nobody wants to hear what you're really going through. Nobody wants to feel what you really feel. But I think it's important to be open about, you know, the hardships of being a mother or the hardships of even marriage or whatnot. And I think that's just giving people that vulnerable side and allowing people to just see you in a different way is, okay, I see great people who are really making a difference, such as Dani, but even herself, she's going through it. But wow, I think back to what I was sharing is the real story and the honest story is what will inspire people. And I remember even telling you on the phone, sometimes in those moments where our schedules don't go the way we plan, I do believe there's always a breakthrough. That's the beauty of this life is even you're having a crappy day and nothing's going your way, keep on keeping on because it just takes one conversation, one shift, one interview such as this moment right now. And it's like, okay, I am fine. I am totally fine. I'm exactly where I need to be and I've made it this far. Everything is going to be fine and things are going to go flow in my favor as we cheered to each other when we drink our wine. But I just wanted you to know from my heart to you, I appreciate you and I am so proud of the mother that you are. And it doesn't matter perfect or not. It doesn't matter fully flawed or not. You're an incredible mother. You are an incredible human being. And that's why you're in my studio right now. That's why we're recording is I didn't want to record people who were perfect. I wanted to record and interview people who just flow in such a divine way. And that's why the name of the podcast is Divinely Disruptive. It's such a conundrum. It's like people like yourself, we're so divine, we're so sensual, we're so elegant, but sometimes we disrupt everyday life or maybe disrupt the assumptions people might have. So I needed to have you open up a little bit about motherhood because, you know, we're going to jump into some businesses you have going on for yourself. I know that you're utilizing your modeling career to be a role model and have masterclasses. I'm like, I ain't no model, but I want to hear more about that really quickly. So, yeah, share like what you've been doing too.
Though that I want to say about like having disruptive.
Yeah, disruptive.
It's disruptive.
A hard one. Tongue twister.
We got it. Is that like, I find that you need that in your life in order for you. I'm going to get it. Okay. So I listen to a lot of Abraham Hicks. I don't know how everybody feels about her, but she does put in I don't know, her perspective is quite unique and I really enjoy it. But she's saying that the contrast, that jumbleness, the things that aren't going your way are such a great quality for us to have. And it allows us to see the things that we do want and the things that we do want to attract. And I find it that now that I know that little piece of information, I sometimes kind of laugh at those things. I know I called you in like a little bit of a frantic moment. Like, my daughter's sick. Oh my gosh, I'm on my way. But I'm not kidding. I was on my way over here and I was thinking like, this is really what makes life so much fun. Like, I texted you, nothing is going to stop me from getting to you. Rawr, I'm on my way. Like, traffic, daughter getting sick, nothing really goes the way you want it to. But if you can look back and kind of like take it with a grain of salt and kind of laugh about it, what can really get you down? You know?
Yeah.
Like, nothing can. Yeah. Nothing can really get you down.
Yeah.
And you look at it kind of in that way.
And adding to that, I tell people challenge only builds character. Yes. So without that challenge and that disruption, then we wouldn't build character, strength, and grit.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
I'm like, here we are killing it and we've overcome so much.
Yeah.
But talking about, you know, being a role model, because I consider you a role model to me too, whether you know this or not, Dani, that's my confession, is how do you feel like you have utilized your modeling experience and, you know, maybe I haven't been to your masterclass yet, but tell me a little bit about model access and masterclass and all that jazz.
Well, it's funny because I'm taking like those challenges that I already experienced in my career, like all of that contrast, all of those problems that I had to go through. That's kind of what made me want to do the Models Access masterclasses, because there needs to be a space for these young girls. It's an industry that starts off really young and nobody is really guiding them in the direction of how to be safe in foreign countries or in other country, like other cities that are, you know, bigger. A lot of these girls are coming from teeny tiny towns like me, or just have never had any introduction into the industry and just think of it as like this glamorous world. There's no guidance. My favorite story is like on a positive note in the industry is that I was in Greece, and it was back in the day before we had like maps on our phone or anything. I know I'm dating myself, but I have experience. And it was a real map. And here's a country that I didn't speak the language, didn't know how to read any, you know, like I was really out of my element. And I was walking around with the map and couldn't find this road that I was looking for. And there's no road signs. It's not like you're looking. I don't even remember. I was so frustrated at this point. And this little lady came out, and thank goodness she spoke English. And she asked me if I needed help. And I said, how did you know? She said, well, you circled around here 3 times. And I didn't even know that I was going in circles. And she told me that I had my map upside down.
You're like, it says turn right.
Your map upside down. And at that moment, I was like, why is no one out here helping us out? Like, here I am. I landed. They told me be here at 11 a.m. I don't even know where my apartment is. And they just want me to go here. And what am I doing? And I don't know what I'm doing. So in those moments, I think that there needs to be not only that, like not only preparing them to be in the industry, but like giving them realities of the industry. Like it's not always that glamorous. There is going to be really uncomfortable people. There are going to be people that challenge you, take advantage of you, use your like inexperience against you, talk down to you. I haven't always had the greatest experiences with agents. You know, they really expect, especially back in the day, social media has changed the game for models, but back in the day, we really had to meet measurements and they were not afraid to tell you if you were fat. As a young girl, as a very young girl being told that, and that's something that lives inside your head the rest of your life. And I think that if there is somebody that can come with the experience and just give them advice, tips on how to become stronger, to become a better business person. That's another thing. Modeling industry, everybody just thinks it's, oh, let's go sit in front of a camera and take beautiful pictures and post them on social media and have them on our book. Oh, we get to travel. We get to wear these fancy clothes all the time. But how are we staying successful? How are you making sure that there's money in your bank account? How are you pursuing clients? How are you building a brand? You know, how do you want your agencies to really push you? Are you getting the right clients that make you feel comfortable in the industry? And I'm hoping that these masterclasses is going to trigger something in these models, you know, goals and their vision of their career to think deeper than, yes, of course, the masterclasses, I'm going to go into depth about posing because I was inspired by some of the queens of dramatic and theatrical modeling and posing. Coco Rocha, oh my gosh, she is a huge idol. You'll see a lot of her through me and my industry and my business. I'm going to teach posing. There's always the runway aspect, but what is it that you want to bring out of the modeling industry? What is it that you want to do? And I'm hoping that I can be like some kind of influence, guidance to these young men and women. And yeah.
How do you sign up for that? Because as you're talking, I'm thinking, okay, I don't want to be a model necessarily, but I just want to sit in to kind of see your world, because even the imagery that you are in, I know I've seen you in a couple campaigns and, you know, ads, you're just so elegant. I think I said that when I first met you in real life. I'm like, Dani, you're so elegant. I know that's an interesting compliment in Vegas, but I'm like, you just have so much poise and the way you move and whatnot. So can people go to a website or DM you on Instagram? Because I know I have a lot of fans and audience members that are into modeling, photography, and I know they can learn a lot from you.
Oh yeah, and I want to get everybody involved. Cool. I don't know if you've seen like photographers have reached. I really would love. I was taken back by the response of some of the people in the industry who want to get behind me, which if we're going to brag a little bit, really says I feel very proud of the reputation that I have created for myself, because I want to stand behind that too. I'm not just saying like, oh, I built this reputation. I really have, that's who I want to be. I want to be that person. Like once you've decided who you want to be, you must emulate that at all costs. So I've always wanted to be this role model, this classy individual. I want to have this reputation of, you know, reliability. And so I feel like when I put this business out there, the response that I received from my agencies overseas, from photographers, from other models, I knew that it was the right decision to do. So with that being said, right now my website is under construction. Hopefully, maybe when this comes out, it won't be, but it's, you can reach out to me, email or on my social media. We're doing a spring class. It is coming up pretty quickly. It's going to be huge, Jane. I am like so excited.
Yeah, let me know. I'm already thinking I have to go.
Excited.
Yeah, Nick will go.
Well, I want you to come actually, because they're having a runway show. So the girls and guys that are part of the class, one of the nights we're having a big runway show, and we're going to be showcasing their photos that Rain, our internationally published photographer who's going to be taking photos of them, and designer clothes. And it's a night. We're going to have it. It's part of Deluxe Version magazine too, because, you know, the magazine is also part of this Models Access. It really all goes together. But yes, you must come and enjoy the runway show and see all the models, what they've learned over the weekend.
No, and you just have so much insight. I know that.
Oh my gosh, I could talk. I'm so sorry.
No, I love this.
Blah, 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 blah. Let me just tell it all.
No, but just this is so exciting because I know in our past times we've been so busy and, you know, we always understood that. But to be able to finally just sit down and just listen and talk and share insights, I'm like, oh, finally, Dani, I wanted to know more about you, because it's one thing to just kind of make these simple assumptions of, wow, okay, this woman's fierce, she's busybody, she's a boss lady, she's beautiful, but just your passion and your enthusiasm, but also your deeper purpose. I truly believe that is why I'm so drawn to you, because I myself, I have a vision and I love being around other women who have vision. And it's not to say that, you know, people who don't have big vision are unworthy of my time, but you said it so gracefully, is you know your path, you know what you want to pursue, come along or not, but I'm not going to slow down or change or waste energy. You know where you want to go.
Oprah said it the best, and this video is trending right now, but Oprah said it the best. The people who are successful have a vision. They have a goal. They have a vision. If you do not have a vision, then what are you waking up every single day for? What are you doing with your life? And the one great thing that I could say, a little bit of piece of advice, I was really scared to launch Models Access. I'd been working on it for months. I didn't know what to think. It was something new. I didn't know if anybody was going to look at me like, what the heck does she know? Or like, you know, they're like, there it is again. But if you are doing something, one thing every single day to pursue that dream, anything like sending an email. Did you send an email today? Did you reach out to somebody? Did you watch a video? Like anything to educate you, anything that goes towards that vision, you are doing something purposeful in your life. And like I said, Oprah said it the best, man. Like if you have a vision, you are going to be a successful person.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with her. I mean, who doesn't agree with Oprah? But what a wonderful piece of advice and knowledge that she shared with us. And I know that is trending right now. I see it a lot, but I think it's really important for us to hear.
And, you know, you touched on something powerful is, you know, Oprah content. I'm really focusing on creating meaningful content that is inspiring. So my takeaway and hope, and I know this is already going to happen because I've manifested it in advance, is this podcast, something you said, it's really going to trigger someone into spiraling into their passion. Because there's people listening and watching. Again, we're not bragging necessarily, but we are here. We press record. We're doing this podcast, and that takes a lot of courage. So if, you know, yourself as a busy mom, myself as a woman trying to figure out the next step, we're here doing it. So it's going to inspire people. Hey, listen, it's never going to be perfect. All the ducks are not going to be in a row, but you got to start somewhere. And like you said, one step, one choice, one direction, pivot towards that vision.
Yeah.
So
I know, because it's one thing. I'm going to quote somebody else. I mean, I can't take credit for all of them. They are great little pieces of knowledge, but Abraham Hicks always says, like, it's never going to be over. It's never going to be finished. You're never going to get that thing done. I mean, yes, you might fold your clothes for that day, but like, you're never going to be ready is what she's meaning. Like, you're never really going to be there in that moment that you think is the perfect, like anybody who's having a kid, they're like, oh, I've got to have this amount of money. No, you don't. Like, it's really going to work out somehow it works out. Just like you might have been really nervous about starting this podcast, but you've had incredible talent on your podcast. I mean, really incredible people. And I was really nervous about launching this business of mine as well. And then the minute I did it, I was just so taken back by the response that I received. And oh my gosh, what was I thinking? What was I taking? I'm sure you think the same way. Like, you're having so much fun. You get to have meaningful conversations all the time. And like I said earlier, you have no idea what this could bring to you in the future. You could have somebody sitting on here that could change your whole entire life or give you advice or something, little bit of information that you'll utilize for the rest of your life. So I don't know, just do it. Just do it. And I think that's really been my motto my entire life. I have no idea where that came from. I don't know if that's that Aries energy of mine. But I just freaking do it. Like, who would have told this teeny tiny little Iowa town? I graduated with a class of 22 people, you guys, 22 people in Iowa. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be Miss Iowa. Oh, I'm going to travel the world and be a supermodel. Oh, I'm going to like be a single mother and kill it and be an editor in chief. I'm going to have my own TV show and drive Porsches and Mercedes. I'm going to have lots of cars, y'all. This is my plan. So, like no one can tell you anything except for yourself. And you just really have to lean into faith and just jump out there and just freaking do it. Just do it.
Now, I have to talk about Tim because I've met him a couple times, at these amazing Deluxe version magazine events. So tell me a little bit about Tim and life as the editor-in-chief, because it seems like an experience that I don't hear often working for a magazine company.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Where should I begin? Well, so how I met Timothy Hancock, our publisher of Deluxe
He's
Version
so cute.
magazine.
Shout out to Tim. We love you.
He's the best. You guys, he has an incredible story. That man is adopted, deaf. Sorry, Tim. I'm like, I'm always there to hype you up. I always tell his story because I'm just like so taken back. But he started the magazine about 9 years ago, and it was during a time where Vegas was doing a lot of events, celebrating best bartenders of the year or best nightclubs. It was very much strip driven. And he saw a missing piece to our city with acknowledging people outside of the strip, doctors, entrepreneurs, lawyers, that, So he started putting events on like that, the same thing. And everybody really, Tim has he has a vision. When I'm talking about vision, this man has a vision. And a lot of people see that. And so they started investing in Tim. And that's where the magazine came. Well, one of those nights before kind of the magazine started, I had a TV show on Amazon Prime, and I was a host of this fashion television show. And he gave me an award. He honored me for that accomplishment. And I was just at the event and I saw like the quality and the caliber of this like production. And I just knew there was something there. And I immediately asked him if I could be a part of it. And at first I was, running around with him, kind of just shadowing him a little bit. And then I wanted to write because I was a journalist in college and high school, and let me write. Well, I want to be a TV host. I already have a TV show. Give me the camera. So, and Tim really allowed me to kind of do whatever I wanted to, as long as, I was creating a great image for us. And, obviously bringing in people that we could all grow together. And from there, we started so many different things. And now we have Resorts World, Circa. I mean, some of the most incredible clients. We are so blessed. Like I said earlier, I am so blessed with some of the clients that I have. And I think that I am like his right-hand man. And we just spent so much time. And I think he saw an opportunity to elevate the magazine and make me editor-in-chief. And we have really kind of taken over the market. And I'm so proud of what we have built over the past 9 years. And I have been with Tim for 8 years. And we've never gotten mad at each other. It's such a great relationship him and I have, business relationship. And he's always super supportive and is always has my back all the time. And he's a guy in town that really wants to see everybody succeed. And I think that's what's I mean, leadership is huge. If you don't have leadership, then you're going to sink. If your company is not doing well, it's because the leader of the company is not a great leader. And I think that says a lot about the magazine. Tim is an incredible leader. He's always there supporting advertisers, people in the city. People know that, he wants to see the best for everybody. And I'm so freaking happy to be like part of that.
No, and thank you for sharing. I can definitely vouch for that because I have a couple editions in my living room, and the quality
yes,
too.
I know I should have brought one in.
I see the transformation because when I moved here about 3 years ago, I saw that magazine and I see it evolving, just even flipping through the pages, quality content. And back to your point, Tim had that specific vision of, yes, supporting the Strip, but what about the rest of Vegas? There's so many brilliant people who are changing the game. So I really appreciate that you and him together joining forces. You're giving people more of a reach and you're making Vegas feel so special, especially people who maybe have been doing their craft for years and decades and no one really gave them an opportunity to finally be exposed and shared in a magazine that everyone gets to enjoy. And totally random, but me and Shelby, we were sitting at the Sterling Club event and my pastor was in there and I'm thinking, this is so rad. Like, I love that you guys featured him. I think it was top 30 men influence or something like that. But to me, beyond just the pastor, it spoke a lot about your vision. Tim's vision is you're not just sticking to one lane or one category. You're literally giving all walks, all industries a chance to be shared. Because people need to meet them. People need to connect with these amazing people.
Yeah, that's what makes our community thrive. Oh my gosh, I've been here for 14 years. This city is never going to fail, by the way. I don't care what the economy says in 2009. We will never fail. We will always come back and be on top and build an arena and do another arena. And we're just going to kill it. That's why I love this city so much. It just has so much passion behind it. But yeah, I think that really what sets us apart too is that, one, Tim is the youngest luxury publisher in the United States, by the way. And I think I'm not far behind him, you guys. I'm like only a year older, but.
And female.
Yes. But we also, another thing that sets us apart is, we really want to support the people that want to be luxury too, because we see the potential in them, and why not try to build them up? And part of it, a lot of our magazine is marketing, advertising. So, like everybody that wants to be on board knows the importance of marketing. And we're not just a magazine. The magazine, the paper, the tangible thing that you get a hold in your hand is only the cherry on top. It's everything that we provide outside of that tangible magazine that makes us Deluxe version. What we give to the advertisers, it's a whole production company, interviews, like tons of marketing, whole branding. We have a whole branding company. So the magazine is just like something special. It's everything behind that,
No, and I'm planting the seed even as I'm daydreaming about what life could be like with Tim and Dani. It would be really funny and fun. We'll figure out how that's going to happen, but we're going to collaborate. We're going to partner up. I know that this is still just the early phases of our life, our friendship, our partnership. But when you said the word luxury, even the name of the business and company and brand, Deluxe version. It's almost like
you didn't think he
cool
thought of that.
Niche. Yeah,
that's Tim.
Like, whoa, that already stands out. But more importantly, just the connection, the support. That's very admirable because you even said it yourself. Is a lot of successful companies and brands. It comes from the top down. No matter what people want to say, that is the reality. You can only be as successful as your leaders, or the lack of leadership. It's going to crumble. So you don't have to share too many secrets, but what do you see in the near future in the Deluxe version magazine? I know you kind of tapped on outside the magazine, obviously the paper, the vibe. I mean, they're collectibles for me, but whether it's events or things we can see.
Thanks for saying that, because that's what we really want. We want it to be like a coffee table book where you can collect them, and they all look so beautiful and something that you could be really proud of having in your home. So thank you for that compliment. What we foresee in the future is last week Tim was in New York City, and which means that we will start distributing in New York City, which is humongous.
Congrats.
Our last issue, 2 issues ago, put us in Miami. So we've already launched in a couple new cities in the past year. We're a national magazine. We distribute basically all on the West Coast, and then now we're trickling into the East Coast. We're also in Cabo, which technically makes us international. But I think, being in more cities, making an impact in other cities, because there's so many fabulous cities in the United States that need that same kind of love, that attention, and having good quality magazines, something that's going to last. And another thing is we really watch what's trending, what's ahead of the curve. We have our Instagram that we're extremely active on, and we know how important that is. And I think that comes from being a little bit younger and having this insight and out and about and hearing what's popular. And yeah, I think that if we just continue to grow and we continue to meet incredible people in all of these communities, I mean, that's kind of the goal. And then events. Goodness, Jane, let me keep going. Hold on. The events are really special to us. That brings community, right? So the magazine is really special. All the good stuff that we give our advertisers are really great. That's what they invest with us in. But those events are a great networking opportunity, not only for us, but for our guests as well. I hear so many wonderful, you guys, one of our clients just became a $10 million. Oh, I do not want to overstep and say the wrong thing, but this is a brand new news that I just heard on the way over here. But huge deal. She just became, what's it called? What is it called? What's it called when you're on the market? Public. Yes. She just became public, and her business sold for tens of millions of dollars. It's huge. She's been one of our clients for 6 years. And these are just things that, just meeting people, networking. And so our events are, I just went off, Jane.
No, I'm
but I just remembered that, getting that text here, and I was like, oh my gosh, I should have read it. But the events are really a great space for other people to network, other people to get to know the community better. If you're not building together, you really need everybody to really grow and build. And everybody that thinks that they can do it on their own, y'all, that's too tough. It is too tough. We need to all work together. We need to build together. This is a community. Vegas is such a small community, and there's space for everyone and everybody. The one thing that I want to say is if you're starting something, everything has already been done before, and every idea has already been thought. And it is okay if you're doing something that somebody else is doing, but how can you make it better than them? And I think that with Deluxe Version, we're always trying, we know that there's other publications out there, but what can we do to just give a step above and bring something exclusive to our clients, or something exclusive to, even if they're not advertisers, to our community, collaborating with the Sterling Club constantly. They are wonderful. The Sterling Club is incredible. If you guys haven't been, go to the Sterling Club. You'll feel super fancy. Be a member. It'll bring so much joy to your life, and you'll meet clients there as well. So much information. But yeah, it's just a really great way to collaborate. And I think that you need the community in order to be successful.
No, and thank you for sharing your passion too. Because
I know. Sorry, Jane. I'm just going and going.
No, you got me. I love it, because people listening and watching right now, they are probably, stuck in the situation of maybe feeling like they don't have the right community, or they're not reaching out as much. I know we all go through these phases of, oh, just being a lone wolf and being Miss Independent or Mr. Boss Man that doesn't need any help. But you hit some great points. And I think that we are stronger as a team. We're stronger as a bigger unit. Because oftentimes I don't think it's an uncommon thought to think, well, if I share my ideas, maybe they're going to take it, or there's not enough room at the table. But I think people have it wrong. I've had it wrong too, where when you reunite with great people, with great vision, with the right, intention and purpose, we can actually get there quicker. We forget that sometimes. It's not, hey, get off the path or get off my boat. You're going to make it sink like Titanic. It's, no, Jane, I see where you're going. Dani, I see where you're going. I've always wanted to be a star. So you do your thing and I'll be my thing. And together we're just going to push each other to get there quicker. So again, thank you for that reminder. We all needed to hear it, including me, is that we don't need to be on this entrepreneur success alone. Yeah. I know some people preach this idea of this false reality, like, oh, I'm going to be successful, but I'm doing it alone and I'm miserable. Enjoy the freaking ride. Like you said, it's never over.
That doesn't sound fun.
It's just,
doing it all by yourself.
So, for you, through it all, again, there's ups and downs, I'm sure. You're so lucky and blessed to have great people like Tim, a great community of people. And I consider you in my community and my support. But faith and spirituality, I know you've kind of touched on this a little bit. Tell me about the importance of that.
Oh my goodness. Well, I've always considered myself very spiritual. I grew up in the church, though. I think that I'm really grateful for those experiences as well. But I did question and challenge my ministers often. I don't think I was like the favorite kid at church. But I'm so glad that I was inquisitive about it, because now I'm kind of where I'm at now. I've had a lot of challenges in my life that put me on, not a lot. Like I said, I've really been so grateful to have wonderful parents. And even though I was raised in a small town, it was difficult to get out of there. But there was a time in my life that really humbled me. And it was a relationship, and it was very toxic. And at the time, I constantly wondered why I was going through all of that, because I just didn't, there are times where I played the victim in this role. Like I really thought that, like, why me? Why am I going through this? When in reality, once I went through this extreme spiritual awakening, realized that, I allowed all that to happen. But through that trauma, I decided to do a lot of healing, because I had my daughter now, and I was really hurt, Jane. I was so freaking hurt. I had been hurt in the past, but nothing like this. And then I was doing it with a baby girl on top of it, and she was only 2. So I knew I needed to I wasn't doing anything unhealthy, but I needed to really get into my spiritual journey. I dug myself into every podcast that I could think of, any book that I could get my hands on healing. I did a lot of quantum. I just started learning
what
so
the heck
much.
Is that quantum jumping? I'm like, do you jump
and this
to
was
space?
Kind of. If you wanted to, you totally could. Quantum jumping. You want to know? Okay. Quantum jumping is basically you get yourself in. You can do this guided. There's lots of ways online that you can do this. Brian Scott, he's one of my favorite ones. He's got a great one, and it's about money quantum jumping, but there's tons of them. And you can do it without a guided quantum jump on YouTube. But basically, it is you getting into a meditative state. And once you've arrived there, you really want to stay awake, because it's your vision. You have to have these visions in order to it. So basically, essentially, it is you jumping into the person that you really want to be. And you mentally getting yourself there, at least for 6-7 minutes, visualizing yourself. So one of the ones, the Brian Scott one that I do, because we all love money and why not? He has you visit yourself in the future, and he allows you to speak to your future self, ask yourself any kind of questions, and then you merge into yourself, and then you pretend like that's you. So I always envision, I'm going to have this damn house one day. You guys just wait. I always envision this house that I modeled in. Actually, I did this job and the house was exquisite. Oh my God. I cried when I walked in. So I know it's mine. An emotional journey through that house. I know it's mine. So I put myself there. I jump into myself. I see myself at my office. I see what I look like, my body. Lennon is in the backyard playing. My parents have a casita in the back too, because they need to be with me. And I envision myself in that moment. And it's weird. Almost every time that I do that quantum jump, I wake up either with a job opportunity, money somehow comes to me somehow, because he really goes into like, money comes to me quickly and easily, blah, 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 blah. He does like a little mantra. And yeah, so you envision yourself where you want to be in the future. And that is like quantum jumping.
See, okay, it sounds a little more doable than I thought. That is awesome.
Do a guided one at first, because
Okay.
they teach you like some breathing techniques, and it helps you like really get into a relaxed state and stay awake too. Because sometimes when I meditate, my ass falls asleep because I'm so beat. But this allows you to kind of be active in a meditative state. So try it. A guided one first. And then once you get the hang of it, you can do it on your own, just like meditation.
Man, I'm proud of you for doing that, because manifestation is a big thing right now. And I feel like this is a little bit more detailed and more structured. Is you are literally not only manifesting and visioning that best version of you, but you get the opportunity to meet her, to feel her, like you said, even your environment. What does she look like? What does her voice sound like? What is she wearing? How does she feel?
How she walks.
I love that. I think I've low-key been quantum jumping my whole life, because I've always saw myself going places, even if it wasn't actually happening. But I had that vision, and here we are now in Vegas, meeting, connecting. And I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Dani, because maybe I'm just daydreaming, but every time I see you, I have this weird experience of like, I see you, but I also see us somewhere else. It's
Where
trippy.
are we? Where
Somewhere
are we?
tropical.
Yeah, I was going to say, it better
water.
be a beach, girl.
Yeah, lots of beautiful rocks. Maybe we'll collect some cute seashells and find a beautiful pearl. But
love that.
Something very just calming, but the sounds of water, birds chirping, a little beach house, having a glass of wine, and sitting there in our bikinis, but just zen.
Yes.
We're so successful, but
Can we be on a yacht?
enjoying. Absolutely.
Okay. Can we be in Cabo?
Yes.
I've got a client for us. Cabo Yacht
perfect.
Charters.
Okay.
Got yachts.
Done. Whatever
all
you need from
exclusive.
me,
We don't
I
have
will
to do
help you.
anything. They
I'll
bring
be
the food to us.
Wow.
Food and champagne. They might even
Yes.
like fan us off. I don't know. We
Wow.
could be that special.
Okay.
I see us there too,
Yes.
Jane.
Oh my gosh, because Cabo has been my magical place. I go once a year.
Amazing.
And so
See?
even that, I'm creating my vision. I'm just making it happen. So thank you for sharing some insight about quantum jumping, and also just the
so
importance of our mindset and our thought processes. Because I remember every time I spoke to you, Dani, you would always just be very mindful of your words. It's like, no matter what I may have gone through, or maybe even yourself, no matter what you were going through, you always showed up in the best version of you. And that's something that we need to celebrate. Is we could have a bad day, but we're still walking in the best version that we can be. So
man, and you know what?
that.
That's our like motto at Deluxe Version magazine, is be the best version of yourself. So you already, you up. You need a
Things are
job, Jane?
happening.
You want to come?
Yeah,
you want to come hang
well,
out?
actually, I am creating new space right now. And that was one of the basis of the podcast too, is it inspired me to level up, but create space to dream again. I'm not kidding you. And that's my goal and my mission with every guest, every opportunity to interview somebody, is through it all, is when you leave this podcast, do you feel like I helped you level up? Do you feel like I helped you create a little more space to dream again? And you've already done that for me. So I just hope you take that home, like in your heart and your spirit, because you and I both know the beautiful journey we've gone through this last year, and even us sitting here right now, even my transformation, even your transformation. It's not about a boohoo story, but rather, wow, Dani, wow, Jane, look at the things we've overcome. Look at the character and the resilience we've built. Like, I'm so proud of us.
I know.
I feel like we've grown just as people, you know, like obviously we're going to be more successful. Wealth and health is flowing freely to us, but I can just feel, just even as humans, we've really grown up so much. And I am just so grateful and honored to be able to experience life with you.
Oh, you're so
I don't take that lightly.
Yeah. Oh, you're so kind.
So one kind of intense question I like to ask every person. Okay, yeah, you're like, be ready. I didn't want you to prep for this. Is at the closing of each episode, 3 life lessons or 3 life tips you would tell your younger self.
Oh.
You're like, let's have a sip of wine.
Yeah, I've already chugged mine. Hold on. Can I think about this one for a second? Yes, of course
you can.
Like I said, I think one of the goals that I really want to pursue is being a forceful guide to like the younger generation. And also having a daughter too. High school is not the end of it. Like there is always going to be much more past that. Even though I had a really enjoyable childhood, I think that because I stood out so much in high school, I got picked on because my school was so like country, and I always wanted to be glamorous and everything. And I really had a hard time with relationships at that point. But I think that really helped me see the benefit in relationships once I got older. So I think that, hold on, I really want to think about this question. That's something that I would always love to talk about, because I do want to help with the younger generation. And I know that they always have a hard time, like being so young. They think that it's like the end of it all, when it really just gets better with age. It really gets better as you keep going and you get older and wiser. Nothing is permanent. That's another thing. Everything is fluid and is always working for you. It's never happening to you. It's never against you. Those trials and tribulations are like your spirit guides or God trying to tell you you're not in the space that you're supposed to be in. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. If it's really, really difficult and you're not enjoying it and it's hard and you don't like that person, then that person is not for you. You're not supposed to be around that person. If it's negative, it's not for you. If it feels good, it's totally for you. Like, this feels great. Our relationships feels great. I never feel any kind of negative anything. So I know you're supposed to be my friend. Like, if you get that weird ick from somebody, there's probably a reason for that, and totally always follow you. Don't let anybody tell you to not follow your intuition. Don't let anybody tell you that your intuition is wrong, or that you're thinking wrong, or that you're crazy, or that whatever you're feeling is not right. Whatever you are feeling is what you are supposed to be doing. It is your guidance. That is your guidance system. If it feels wrong, get off of that path. If it feels wrong, don't be around that person. If it feels good, that is where the direction you're supposed to be. Like, I don't know. Is that 3?
No, that's
Jane?
Perfect. Oh, that's 3 powerful ones. I'm like, whoo. Absolutely. I was telling people, I usually take people to church, but you definitely took me to church and a spiritual guided journey. But that was powerful, Dani, because seriously, so many people, we overcomplicate life, and you just hit so many great points. And, you know, we're going to have another episode where we're going to chat deeper on specific topics, but just to keep it quick, like anxiety, depression has been such a big thing right now, suicide and whatnot. Yeah. And so when you tapped into those key lessons about things are temporary, and, you know, everything's for a moment, and, you know, like your feelings, they're valid, they matter. this is things that not only the young generations need to hear, the kids, the youth, but even adults. We have this story, who knows where it came from, is, oh, how we feel is not valid, or how we feel no one matters. And then that intuition, I always used to ask myself this too, is why do I feel these things? And instead of feeling the feelings, I would just shut it. And I would just find excuses to let people abuse me or talk ill to me. And I'm like, oh, maybe it's them. But kind people, I know people listening and watching right now can really resonate with us, is it's not a flaw or a sin or a punishment to be a kind human and want to be kind to others. However, there is that careful dance and delicate boundary where, okay, the moment we can feel this is no longer good for us, this is very toxic for us, it is our job and only our job to cut it out.
Totally. You have to have boundaries. Oh my gosh. That's something that I did not have growing up in I'm a people pleaser. I want to make sure everybody around me is happy. But that got me into a lot of weird situations that made me feel super uncomfortable. It wasn't until that really challenging breakup that I had that I realized that, Dani, you really don't set a lot of boundaries. So boundaries are going to piss a lot of people off. They're going to make people really angry because you're not giving them full access to yourself. But you will never be happy if you're constantly pleasing people. You have to really be doing the things that make you feel good and not constantly worried. Because if they're going to be mad, then they're not your friend anyway. If they can't understand the reason that you're setting a boundary, then you really don't want to waste your time with them in the first place. And another thing is that we all have a choice. Okay. So even if we are in a decision, like a situation where we're being abused and we're taken advantage of, I was in that situation so many times, and I cannot be mad at anybody else except for I had the choice. I allowed that to happen. I had the choice to do that. And I also had the choice to end it and to get myself better and to be better for the next person that I want in my life, to be better for my daughter, to be better for my friends, to be better for my business. And you have everybody, no matter what your age is, you have a choice. If you want to be a great role model, if you want to just kind of wing it, you have that choice. I would suggest not winging it, like make an executive decision. Like, I'm going to be a really cool person and I'm going to be really nice, but I'm going to set boundaries so people don't take advantage of me. But I'm going to freaking be cool and be really awesome and people are going to like me, have that mentality.
No, I love that. And I think that's a really good message for everyone to hear. And I'm just super excited to just dig deeper on the next episode. I always try to be polite and cute in the first episode, but I can already tell there's so much depth between us. And I'm so excited that you were able to just take this time to just open up your soul. That's all I asked for today. I was like, hey, don't prep too much, but just come with an open mind, open soul, and an open spirit. And you definitely did that. So I just want you to know, like, I am grateful for you. I'm grateful for our friendship. I'm excited for just what is ahead for us. I know nothing but great things, and excited for more enjoyment and things to just flow freely. Nothing is going to be forced. So if I haven't told you enough, Dani, like, thank you for being in my life. You have no idea just what an impact you make, because I believe that every human in this world has a purpose. Every human in this world has a light within. And that's why I always tell people, tap into that light within, and that is where you make the change. So thank you for your light. Yeah. Thank you for your beauty. And everyone watching and listening, please make sure to support my beautiful friend, Dani. And I'll make sure to link all her information below. I know we talked about several things, and she can really help you with a lot of things. So whether it's a potential job or partnership in the Deluxe version magazine, or even learning more about the model game, how to just be successful, or just simple life tools. I feel like being a boss lady in this city is not easy. I mean, anywhere, it's not easy. And we all need mentors. So thank you for being a mentor in my life. And everyone watching, thank you again for taking the time to tune in. We really appreciate your support. And until next time, shine your light and protect your peace. Bye, guys.
Bye.